Hello, hello, happy Friday. Welcome. I love the energy in the chat as usual. I hope you guys had a really good week. Before we get started, I just want to shout out Brody. Thank you so much. She gave a super chat like last night before the stream even started. So I just want to say thank you so much for doing that. Okay, so today, we're doing a very juicy reading, What is the Gossip About You? And I've wanted to do this one for some time. Like, I keep kind of thinking about it. And then for some reason, I would just get like scared or intimidated from the subject. And I was like, no, let's not do that. And then I would kind of move away from it. But when I did the poll for our live stream last week, somebody mentioned in the comments that they wanted to do the gossip reading. And they did mention that it kept coming out in other readings that certain people were talking about you, or there was some like mention of like the behind the scenes gossip. And so they were like, let's look into that. And I thought that was a really good idea. So let's all hold hands, as somebody's already mentioned, and like jump into this. And I gotta tell you, what?
People are already commenting. First of all, you are beautiful, just like everybody said.
Oh.
But people are asking what your shirt says.
My tummy hurts and I'm mad at the government. Okay, so I love this shirt. I got it on Amazon if you guys want to get matchings. Okay, so these messages have already been coming through like so strong, and I don't know what that means. You might be like a hot topic of conversation, like literally for all these piles. And you guys know that I like to share whenever there's an anchor card. And if you're curious about that, we have an anchor card for this one, and it is the Hunter. Whenever I say this in my mind, it's always the Hunter. So I just feel like, yeah, like somebody here could be like hunting. They're after something. Like, see this? This is like a common energy for all piles. Some, like with the sun energy, some kind of truth, some kind of quest to understand like your personality, maybe like a career thing, like a job opportunity. But for some of them, I'm literally just getting like, I don't know, just information. They're just like hunting out of like some kind of information or clarity, but there could be like a lot of active engagement, like trying to understand your energy. And for some of you, I feel like this is kind of a divine role that you are meant to play. You're supposed to kind of get stuck in people's gob a little bit, and they have to kind of chew on your energy, and they're meant to, and it's like meant to bring about some kind of like realization or some kind of like higher understanding. And I think there's some kind of like massive, major, like consequential process that is potentially going on. Yeah, I'm hearing some of you play, I don't know, it's not necessarily like the divine gesture, but you could be like, the energy that's coming through is like gender bender, or like, you playfully, I'm hearing you playfully combine two opposite energies that people don't readily have a category for. And because of that, people have to pay attention to you, or you confuse people in such a way that entices them. And it's a part of your divine role and divine function. It is like the performer, like the divine gesture, the divine performer in some way. But I just don't, some of you, maybe you do work in like entertainment or something, but for others of you, it's just, this is kind of the role you play in your social group. So anyways, that's just the general. Like I said, there's so much energy coming through here with this. Now, the last thing that I'll say, I like to remind people of this before we get into like a gossip reading or what has somebody heard about you. Just because people are running their mouths and saying certain things about you, or somebody thinks a certain way about you, it doesn't make it true. Okay, so just, there's a lot of trash in the human mind, and just understand that that's where we're going. So just, you know who you are, stand firm. This is an exercise. It can be an exercise of just, you know who you are, you know your truth, stand in that truth. What people say sometimes can reflect the truth, sometimes not. And there's the phrase that's like, what you think of me is really none of my business. And it kind of is, but like, we're nosy around here. So as long as we just kind of keep that in mind. So I just wanted to remind you of that. Okay, so with that being said, let's go ahead and get started. We've got the 3 piles here. The first pile we have is the Kairos pile. Then we have the Thread, pile number 2. And pile number 3, the Gem. Okay, I think there might be some kind of connections here between these piles that would be of use for you to understand, is the way that's coming through, at least 2 of them. And I'm really feeling a strong connection between 1 and 3 for some reason, but we haven't even gotten into this, so take that however it resonates. So, okay, I'm going to hold all 3 of them up. 1 is on this side, 2 is in the middle, 3 is on this side. Just do your thing with this, quiet your energy, get yourself into position, and allow yourself to be drawn into whatever pile or piles best suits you or is calling to you, keeping in mind that sometimes everything that happens in a tarot reading can be relevant. You just have to learn how to hear that message. And a big part of that might be how you are drawn into your message. It is noteworthy if you're drawn into a pile that doesn't seem to resonate, but then you try a different pile just to make sure it's not your intuition that's kind of, leading you one way. And if the next pile resonates, that could potentially tell you something. That maybe you're not connecting with your intuition in this situation as strongly as you could be, that there's something else masking his intuition, and that if you click that on, it'll help you in your situation. It could also, if you're drawn into one pile that doesn't resonate, it could tell you some kind of like false thing that you originally believed, but then, it's like put the whole thing together. It's, we string words together to form sentences that form paragraphs, that form essays, that form novels, like add that depth. I'm literally getting this as a message for some of you. Add that depth and dimension to your tarot practice, to like your spirituality practice. You'll go much further, much faster. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into this. Are you nervous? I'm nervous. Okay. Okay, pile number one. Well, look at this. Okay, first of all, we've got two images here of like people peeking in. So I think there's a lot of interest in your life, like from the outside looking in, people like on the periphery, people who maybe are tertiary characters in your life, don't have like direct access to you, or people who are just like honestly nosy. They're like, maybe they do know you in like meet space, but then they're trying to like maybe spy on your social media or something, like just because they're curious about you, like what goes on like here with that person, like what is their personal life like, people have those kind of questions about you. I think it's in general, but there are like certain people in particular. And there is a reference to time. So for some of you, this has gone on for like some period of time, and time might be certain, and like the progression of time, or like the progression of you over time, your career is what I'm just hearing, or something to do with you that's like your for some of you, it's like your wardrobe, the way that you've dressed and like presented yourself, like over time, like the evolution of you. I think people are kind of talking, but I feel like a major theme in this pile that people talk about with you is money. There is something coming through here with money. Okay, I just heard exchange rate. So for some of you, I don't know if this is like, I don't know, maybe you move to a different country and it's like exchange rate. What's the exchange rate? But for some of you, it's like some kind of transaction rate, like your prices. Like I'm kind of getting somebody who would sell like their artwork on like Etsy or Society6 or something, and it's like, what is your exchange rate? I know that's not like the technically right term, but it's like somebody is like concerned with your money and like how much money you are making. And there are some people here where they might be, I think it's actually a smaller group of people that are trying to tally like how much money you're worth or something here like that. But I also think that it's like where you get your money or how you got your money. And there could be for some of you, okay, wait, I just heard, okay, it's a pie, up and baby, up and die. So this could involve a death, like maybe some kind of, I just heard who died and made you king. Okay, so for some of you, these people are salty. Okay, immediately I'm kind of getting there's two groups here, but we'll go into those here in just a second. But there could have been like maybe a question about an inheritance, like did you inherit something, or benefactor? Like are you getting this some kind of money? And it's Scorpionic, okay? And Scorpio does rule over deaths, first of all, wills and things, money after marriage, and it also rules over just other people's money in general. So there's, again, we all have to participate in commerce, which is us exchanging like our, time and our energy and skills like for other people's money, who then are also doing the same thing. That's like a marketplace. So for some of you, it's not even like that deep, but for others of you, there's like an exponential jump or something like that's happening. They're showing me like it's happening on two levels. So there's one group here where it's like, you're kind of like a normal human being. Even if you are doing, this is like middle class, that's what I mean. It's like you're a normal human being. Not that you don't do well for yourself and that you're not like secure, but it's like happening on a regular human time scale and like normal scale. But then there's another group here, okay, where it's like a jump. Like these are people who operate on an entirely different level. And I'm sort of wondering if it's like the gossip isn't happening between two people on two different levels. And they're not like understanding, and there could be quite a bit of like projection here. But I think like the middle class person where it's like, yeah, you might have maybe say you're doing well for yourself and you've gotten yourself into some kind of secure position and it's considered like successful, but that's not the same thing as like, oh my gosh, somebody's up on this pedestal. They make $100,000 blowing their nose in the morning. Like that's a different level. And there could be some conflation here, like between the two, and like some projection. So if you're in like this, the middle class where it's like you're solid, you're doing well, you're not doing anything like weird or nefarious, you've just grown into yourself and you've, had taken some kind of natural course to success, you might not even realize that people are concerned about your money, honestly. You could just think like time, your energy, your skill set has like paid off. You probably don't even think people are like talking about you that way, but they are. And it might be these people up here that like have maybe done something weird to get their money that are accusing you of doing that. Okay, there's something like weird here going on, like between money. And yeah, some of you, okay, I just heard 40 acres and a mule, that's a slave reference. Like in America, like when the slaves were emancipated, they were supposed to get 40 acres and a mule. And that's like a whole other different like topic, but a lot of them didn't get that. And so in modern day times, like I'm kind of getting that, like we're all kind of wage slaves. Like you could have been working to accumulate somebody else's wealth, which again, in modern times, that's just like working for another business, working for a corporation. So you could have been doing something like that where yes, you were getting like some kind of paycheck, but you were ultimately working to like enrich shareholders or like, something, working that corporate ladder kind of job. And then something like you transitioned like out of that. And now maybe some of you own your own business or something, or you're like paying other people. And so there's a lot of talk around this. There's just a lot of talk around money. There's also, so for some of you, it's like the daily ins and outs of like your commerce. People are just nosy. People are just curious. People are, but for others of you, there's one major transaction that people are like kind of assuming, like wondering about or assuming. And it has to do with like what, I think for most of you, it's what you're taking in. But for some of you, somebody may have died. And then like maybe there's a question around how much money you had to pay, like for a funeral expense or something like that. I don't know. But for most of you, it's like, I think they got some kind of like inheritance. But for others of you, it's, for some, there's like two groups here. And I feel like, if somebody, this is like the level of like celebrities, okay? I feel like somebody here actually really could have done something where they did make their money not necessarily on their own skill set. Maybe it was like some kind of an agreement or an arrangement using schmags or something, or just partnering up with like the right people. Somebody here like may make their money doing that and, or have done that, but then they're like accusing you of doing that. Like, I don't know. I'm getting that. And because there's a group here, it's this like middle class group that I'm talking about where it's basically like you could have haters, where they're basically accusing you of they call you everything but a child of God, basically. Like the people who are just like envious and they will never give you your credit. So again, don't take this on, like take this with a grain of salt. It's like they can never just give you your credit for being smart, for managing your money well, for having a skill set, for being decent. And I'm hearing Occam's razor. Oh, okay, that's the difference between the two. Occam's razor, like these two kind of groups. Occam's razor is like the simplest explanation often is the correct explanation, right? So when somebody jumps up to like, boom, celebrity status, there are so many talented people in the world that we know that people like on that level, a lot of times it's who you know. Nepotism reigns king. You've made some kind of connection, right? Like a lot of times that is the simplest solution. They may be talented, but it's like, that's not a guarantee in modern society where there are like, 8 billion people on the planet that you're going to make it to some kind of like, it's a very elusive thing, right? So oftentimes you know somebody, you know the right people, or you have traded something else besides just your talent, So like that's going on. That's Occam's razor for like those kinds of types of people. But for like middle class, like regular people, the simplest solution is that you worked hard. Yeah, there's always going to be some level of like luck involved where, or I like to call it like synchronicity, where like you're there to kind of take opportunities. My dad used to say, if you don't have cash in your pocket, you might as well never have come across a sale to begin with. So you always want to make sure, he wasn't saying like that you have money, not that you carry cash on you, because that's actually kind of dumb, but because you get mugged. But thank you so much, Heather. Oh my gosh, for the $50 super chat. Have my money. People are going to be gossiping about this for an age. Anyways, so yeah, it's like, like a lot of times the simplest solution is that you just worked hard and you have a skill, and people are salty, people are jealous, people are envious, and like people just might take any opportunity to kind of like tear you down, or again, calling you anything but a child of God, calling you anything but just hardworking, dedicated, skilled, talented, whatever. They just can't. So there's just a lot of conversation. Now, for some of you though, where there's this bigger transaction, there could have been some kind of ending. Again, it could have been a death in the family or something where, who died and made you king. But it could have also, I'm hearing like business, selling of a business, selling of some kind of major asset or something, and like how much you got from it, why it happened. Like there's a lot of conversation around that, like involving money, if it was fair, if it wasn't. For some, this is like a business that got sold, and then the new owners came in, and there's like a new menu, and there's like new prices and stuff, and it's very much that, like, it might be like who died and made you king, or like we can't afford these prices, or like there could be like, why should we be paying you this, like, you know, kind of a thing. I don't know, but yeah, I think there could be some kind of like major death or transition or transformation, something here like that. But I kind of, this more spiritual, the more spiritual aspects of this, because this card like like the meaning of it in the book centers around time. So again, there's something to do with time, or the timing. Oh, the timing of this is suspicious, maybe relative to a death, maybe relative to a, I don't know. And again, maybe some people need to mind their business, like don't take this on. But another aspect is like spiritual timing in this card. They reference like a timeline that goes beyond like the human realm. This is like divine timing and things like that. So there could be some kind of just synchronicity of like, oh, well, this happened and then you happened, like boom. Also, when I was singing that song, that was from, it's just a little hocus pocus. It's from Hocus Pocus. That like, say it's a pie, up and baby, up and die. And I was picturing like the Sanderson sisters singing that song. So there could be a little talk of like, maybe you're witchy, and there are as many witches as like kinds of witchery as like, they're all kind of witches out here doing all kinds of things. And to be honest, it's like a rare witchy that can do like major things like this, or even has an interest. So there could just be like, well, what did you do to kind of get that? Like, did they like do something like to, you know, and I'm really truly getting like that I don't know. But also the hocus pocus, like, I don't know, there's some, yeah, like it's just a little hocus pocus. Yeah. So, okay, but the thing I was getting on like the spiritual dimension of this, and only take this if this is something that you resonate with, but I'm kind of getting that you're on different timelines than these people. And this could go back to what I was saying at the beginning, where there's some kind of divine role that you're playing, where you're getting people talking about the difference that is you, and like the confusion that you initiate, engage in people is a healthy confusion, where they have to confront that people do not fit into these like neat categories where, you know, like people are nuanced and people don't have to make sense to you, right? So there's something about that where I think you're playing like a very divine role. You're just like something that like jams in between categories. But it might be some kind of like something extreme, but getting people kind of talking about this because they're on a different, and I kind of think lower timeline than you. And that might account for your jump up, is because maybe without noticing it, you like jumped up timelines. And this kind of goes into the whole, there's I think it's After School, the YouTube channel, and there's a K in it. It's School with a K. After School, they do like the animated whiteboard videos with somebody who is like a thinker in their field, or somebody who has something interesting to say in the background. They're kind of illustrating that. There was one recently that came out, and it was talking about like this jump in timelines, which is spiritual lore. Like a lot of us kind of talk about that, kind of like mitosis, where two cells kind of split off, and that's currently going on in our world. And like, so I think that's maybe, again, and this, because the eye in the middle, this reminds me of the animal card in this deck. So like people could be operating on a more animalistic kind of thing, but you've grown, and so you've changed your kind of like timeline or something. So they're peeking at you, like they can still see you. And that video talks about that, how like there's a moment of time where even though like you're being pulled apart from people on different timelines, you can still kind of see each other. You can still see you. Thank you so much, Petal, for the super chat. I'm going to tell them your witchy candles made me rich. Maybe you'll get more business. That's so funny. Oh my gosh. Okay. So, yeah. So I think they're like watching this happen. And I think it's spirit actually trying to reach out to these people, like could you make a similar turn in yourself? And it's very Sagittarius energy. I think you've really jumped up. I think even in your spirit, you've jumped up like within yourself, you know, from that bestial energy to like you have some kind of broader perspective. And this even could be in business, okay? Like this could be very, very mundane where it's like, you know, when you start a business and like at first, like it's very really not that uncommon for businesses to be in the red for like, I think 3 years on averages. Businesses don't even produce a profit. That's normal, which is why it's so hard to start a business. And you kind of, societies have to value that to help people like really get a leg up. And that way they don't get squashed by these like big giants. But so like a lot of times when you're in the beginning stages of that, it's just like, you just are putting fires out, you know, like you kind of have to, but then, you know, you can follow your business plan like more and you have like that longer term outlook and you're able to kind of, so there could be some kind of jump up in that. And like I said, it could be very mundane here, like as well. But I do think, okay, there could be something about the way that you talk. Cause I just heard in my mind that, I think it was Miss America. There was some kind of beauty pageant girl. And she was asked that question about, you know, something about the school system. And she was like, such as, she was like, you could tell she was trying to formulate a thought and she was trying to buy herself time, like while she was thinking about it. And so she kind of just strung a bunch of words that she thought sounded smart together, but it was like, and Africa and such as, and Asia and, you know, and it was like, oh no. And then it went, completely viral. Mario Lopez was like the one holding the mic. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? So, maybe some people thought that you were like ditzy or something and you're not. Or maybe people are like, oh, they think that they're so smart, you know, but really they're just stringing like it's luck or it's somebody else's money. Or maybe some people think that you traded on your beauty or that only the reason that people listen to you or that you got a promotion over somebody else is because of the way that you look. And that, yeah, I'm telling you, there's a group here, very salty, negative, jealous individuals that will call you anything but a child of God and just say, oh, well, it's just because this, and this. And it's because they don't want to have to look at what they could potentially do in themselves to rise up within themselves. Okay, so, karmic ties is at the bottom of the deck. So, yeah, I think that these are karmics to you that are talking about this. They're salty. I knew it. They're not happy. And for some of you, these people are not happy that you're not around them anymore. That's what I'm saying. It's like that. And I think it comforts these people. Okay, these are people that you don't speak to anymore. And they would like to think, they wish that they could say that it's because you've leveled up in some way and it's made you snobby. But I think you're just on different timelines. Like the energies just do not match anymore. Like you have leveled up. They have not. So even if you got around these people, like there's something else. Yeah. It says off and on, hot and cold, detached. So maybe you're hot and you're cold. You're yes, then you're no. Yeah. So some people could say that it's like, this is what I'm saying. And some people do not have the mental capacity to be able to be self-aware and to truly be objectively self-aware within themselves. To bring themselves into the equation. They don't understand that they are the looker, they are the observer. And so there's a lens between the observer and self, and that lens for human beings is mind and emotion and all of that stuff. That's a part of the equation of how they feel about you. Some of these people, they really are just not able to do that mentally, like within that capacity, confirmation. And because remember I was saying that this is a group that kind of straddles two opposing energies. And it makes sense within you. This is Gemini, yes and energy. Yes, this person is this way. They are also this way. But I'm also being shown that's spiritual and material. Yes, you are spiritual. And the material world, Pentacles suit, is a part of your spiritual lesson. It's a part of the spiritual classroom here. Is you engaging with the material world. If you're doing well and you're not screwing anybody over, then that's probably good. It's showing that you're growing in some kind of like knowledge. So it's yes and I think there's something here about like the spiritual realm and the material realm, and you are not in conflict. And I'm hearing it's a perfect paradox. It's like some kind of paradox point, but again, they don't have the capacity. So it's this, these are people where it's like off on, yes, no, black and white thinking. It's this or it's this. It can't be both. You, my dear, or my sir, are both. You're both. And these are people that just can't get it together enough. They've never met somebody like you. And then they automatically demonize it. That's also like very lazy mental thinking. And it's kind of lower aspect of humans is that a lot of times if you, I'm hearing kill what you see if it threatens you from a song that I like. In their mind, they have to dead you. They have to neutralize you. They can't just allow you to be, even if they can't make sense of you, and just say, huh, and like just be open to the curiosity and the thoughts and the questions and the pondering that would grow their spirit. And I often say this, I used to do this a lot as a kid, because I went, one of my best friends when I was in elementary school, her mom was deaf. And so I don't know why I just said that. That's just how I remember her. But anyways, we would hang out like on the weekends. Thank you so much, Tasha, for the super chat. And there was one weekend that we had plans, and then she just wasn't answering my phone calls or anything. So then I was mad at her. Like when we got back to school on Monday, I thought she kind of blew me off. And then she was like, oh, my grandpa died. And I was like, whatever, you're just saying that because you ignored me and you didn't want to hang out. Like I was really mean to her. Not mean, but I just basically told her that I didn't believe her. And then we ended up like making up, and I went to her house, and then somebody literally knocked on the door, showed up, and delivered her grandfather's urn, like while I was sitting there on the couch. And I was like, oh my God, I'm such a piece of shit. Like her grandpa literally did die, which is heart-wrenching. And then like she had to go to the funeral, or I don't know, they were like at the hospital, or I don't remember exactly. But I feel like there's something here like that where I don't know where I was going with that. It'll come to me. But yeah, it's just they don't believe you about something, and you're telling the truth about something here. So who's going to tell them I'm going to do it anyway? Oh, your best friend calls you Mr. Sir. Yeah. So it's just like two things can be true, you know, and yeah. These are people that you might have felt like backstabbed you, and it wouldn't surprise me why you would feel that way, because they're salty. These are people that may have talked around you, or they may have just talked behind your back. These are people that maybe are just looking for anything to have a problem with you about. Backstab, pain, cheating, deception, mind games, love bomb. Yeah. Like I said in the beginning, there's quite a bit of projection of like, well, I know that if I gain success, it would be like this, or it would be like that. Or I know that I'm prone to doing this or to doing that. So you must have done that, you know? And it's lazy, sloppy, kind of lazy thinking. Okay. I think these people are just not happy with their life. Secrets. They think you have secrets. These people may have secrets though. It could involve like some kind of secret arrest. Memories. Yeah. Okay, anything else? And then we will kind of wrap this up here. Married and rejected. So you could have rejected some of these people. Yeah. Secluded. Separation, reflecting, soul searching. They're supposed to be soul searching. I just don't know how much, like how fruitful this is going to be. Oh, there's also something that's coming through here, because I was hearing that song from SNL. It's funny, and it's actually a good song, but it's like that weird little flute. And they talk about how in a lot of rap songs, there's that weird little flute, and how that's just like such a weird phenomenon, like for it to occur. And so there could be something like you are the weird little flute. You are the like metaphorically in a good way, you know, kind of like it seems weird, but it actually makes the song. And it's like the part that you probably sing in your head, it's like that weird little flute. Oh, but I just heard weird little fruit. So for some of you, yeah, I'm hearing like, what's that little fruit up to? Like, and maybe that is like a gay reference for some of you, which, ugh. But for others of you, it's like you're weird or you're different in some way. Like, yeah, I just heard the word queer. Like, you're just different. And I don't think that that's necessarily for most of you, like even Kate, thank you so much for the super chat. Let them talk. Thanks, Jess. Yeah, let them talk. There's a lot of jealousy coming through here in this pile, and like trying to understand your success. But I will say, like on the flip side, because for some of you, I do want to say, I think this is like a minority group. It's like you are this person that I was talking about where maybe you did get wealthy, like really wealthy. I'm talking, there's some kind of somebody with like an exponential jump. Okay. Maybe you did get wealthy through some kind of underhanded means. People are onto it. If that's the case, people are onto it. You could even like, and that's what they're talking about. In extreme cases where it's like you did profit, like after a marriage, there was some kind of strategy, or after a death, there was some kind of strategy to get on somebody's will or something. If that occurred, people are onto it. And that's what they are talking about. You could even have people combing through records, finances here, transactions, like specific things. And that's what they are talking about. Discrepancies in behavior, discrepancies in what was said. Yeah. They had a hand in it. Like there's just caught red-handed. That's what I'm seeing. And there's something about like the left hand doesn't understand what the right hand is doing. So these are people that might even be giving you the impression that they're fine with you, but they're looking into something behind the scenes, and they're discussing things here like behind the scenes, and it will come out. That's what I'm hearing. Something here will come out about, I feel like this is financial, and it's something to do with the discrepancy in financial tracking and how somebody enriched themselves here. But it was through scorpionic means. It was hidden. It was to do with other people's money. It could have been schmegdual. It could have been planned. That's going to come out. And so, and there's, for others of you, if it's like, you could have a relationship with a benefactor of some kind, like a boss or something. And this is, only take this on like, that this is the truth. I feel like with this group, it's like, that you are in the position that you are in. You've elevated yourself through life through some kind of schmegdual activity or some kind of something. People know that. People talk about how you're in the position that you're in because of a relationship or a connection that you have that might be unsavory, and that there are more skilled, more talented people who potentially were overlooked or passed up. I don't think it's the people that were overlooked and passed up that were talking about it, though. I think that it is other people who have noticed what was going on and kind of been putting the pieces together and feel like there's no hope or no future in that company unless you're willing to like debase yourself or something here like that. Or like within the family, it's no use, it's no bother being good at your job because that's not what gets like you into the industry or you promoted or something like that. But so if you are that way, if for that group, that's definitely being talked about. And if you think you're fooling anybody that you're successful by your own merit or like by your own means, then that's not the case, like not even a little bit. So, okay. Nope, not at all. Okay, so I think that's what I have here. Yeah, Saturn. Oh, okay. Okay, another thing that could be coming through here with this group is like some kind of block or obstacle, some kind of routine. And it could be like there's a block or obstacle here. And I was getting that earlier. Some kind of block or obstacle to these people seeing you or communicating with you. And they're thinking that it's because you're snobby or you've leveled up here. And if you were in that small, weird second group, that's definitely the case. But if it's this, most of you, it's not that. It's some kind of karmic block that has been put up for your protection because these people need to grow their worth is what I'm hearing. But this is self-worth. Worth connected to worth is what I'm like in a healthy way. We're talking like reasonable growth and things like that. Also, there could have been some kind of negative event that put you at odds with somebody here that meant that they were at a distance or that they were blocked out. Some kind of negative event. That's the time reference. So for some of you, there's an aftermath to a negative event, and this person's been watching you ever since that. And you need to know that this person's been watching you ever since that negative event, and they've seen your progression here. Spirit's trying to teach them a lesson in that maybe there was some truth, maybe they weren't in the right, in watching you grow. There's some kind of spiritual lesson that's like kind of going on here, and it's supposed to transform this person's mind. And it's through, they're also learning a lesson here of observation. These are actually people, there's some kind of spiritually sanctioned aspect of them watching you because they're supposed to be leveling up. 22 is a master number. They're supposed to be leveling up in their observation. Pluto also rules over psychology. So observation of their own psychology is what I'm getting. Again, these are people that strike me as not understanding that Jesus always said, first remove the log from your own eye. And to me, that means like, first understand your own lens. You have to understand the weight of your mind, your emotions, your side of things, and understand how that is potentially tinting what's real. You have to remove that in order to actually see what's real. There's a lesson going on that. So these people don't have the truth about you, is what I want to say. And there's two different lessons. Again, they don't have the truth about you because they're being salty and they're jealous, calling you everything but a child of God. I got that from BJ Investigates, and I'm going to keep saying it for the rest of my life. Calling you everything but a child of God. And then, but there's other people where it's like maybe you got put on a pedestal, but really like you just married the right person and you maybe did it on purpose, or you, so again, that's removing the film of like, that's not genuine success. That's not genuine skill. That's nothing that can be emulated, that shouldn't be emulated because it's the worst parts of humanity. So removing that film and saying, that's really nothing to look up to. That's really nothing I want to be. That's really nothing to aspire to. There's nothing inspiring about that. It's all low and underhand. That's skullduggery. It's removing the film in order to see the actuality. Like, are you willing to debase yourself for this? It's not worth it. So, that's what's going on here as well. And it also could involve something here doesn't seem fair to these people, but it's the difference between like equality and equity. Like there is something, this challenges these people's notion of fairness, because they're like, well, I didn't get that and you did. This is like, well, she got a lollipop and I didn't get a lollipop. So that's not fairness, because fairness would be both of us having lollipops. But then actually, when you look a little deeper, it's like, well, Timmy got a lollipop because Timmy went to the chores list on the fridge and he did the chore that said he could get a lollipop, while Jimmy sat on his butt and played video games all afternoon. So it is fairness that Timmy got a lollipop and Jimmy didn't. Like, actually, when you take a step like further, there is something actually fair about this. But in order for them to see the fairness that has occurred, they need to get out their own way. They need to be engaging with like their own mind here. So it's challenging their notion of fairness. And I think the fairness has to do with relationship. It also could challenge their notion of equal give and take in relationship. And again, this could be something where it's like, from their perspective, they're like, I gave equally into that relationship. But actually, when they take a step back, they're like, no, I didn't. Because equality, it's like you have to assess, you have to put everybody in context. You know, like what roles was everybody in? The expectations are different, I'm hearing, for everybody here. It's not the same. This is like the parent, like this is just one singular example. Okay, this could literally be anything. But this is a parent that is like comparing themselves to a child's level. You know, it's like, no, you're supposed to provide and you're supposed to protect. You're supposed to guide. There is much different. You should be pouring into that child. This is 100%, 0% for parent to child. 100%, 0%. If you're not giving 100% and you're saying, well, my child only called me 3 times last month and I called them 3 times. Bitch, you are so not on equal terms. They should have called you 0 times and you should have called them every day. Such is the equality here. There's something here like that. Like, you need to have the ability to hold yourself to a higher standard. Like, and that's maybe also what's unequal. You could be holding yourself to a higher standard than they are. And that's another thing that's off, is like, you hold yourself to standards internally within yourself. You expect to behave a certain way and they don't. So you yield different results in your life. And this is absolute fairness is what I'm getting. But these people don't understand that. So that is what I have for you guys for pile number 1. What an elite word. Yes. Okay. So that was that. That was something, wasn't it? We need a drink after that. I was kind of getting that too. Just Maya's Light said, I feel you're speaking on the entertainment industry and how the celebrities are being exposed, but not the powers that be. I felt the energy of Whitney Houston before this video aired. Interesting, yeah. The Chaos Covenant is about to make fetch happen with skullduggery. Yes. Okay, I love that we're the Chaos Coven. I feel like this is chaotic good energy, and also chaos is the feminine principle. And I didn't think any of that through before I call myself the Chaos Witch. It's just, I just love how perfect that ended up being. Okay, I'm just taking a breather here. We'll just get some compassion going in the room. Compassion, compassion, compassion.
I
Okay.
hope everybody knows that you're not doing that just for them, that this is literally how you are all the time.
I don't know if you guys heard that, but Alex is like, I legitimately hope people know that you're not just doing this for their benefit, that this is how you are all the time. It's true. Okay. All right, moving on. I believe that. Okay. Pile number 2, the thread. Well, isn't this interesting? That's what I just heard. Well, isn't this interesting? Okay, this is interesting because I feel like the gossip that's going on here with you has to do with men. It's relative to men. And this doesn't feel sexual, actually. This feels like a group of men that you used to hang with. Again, I'm not getting sexual energy. This is like talk with, identify with, and you no longer do, or you've somehow like removed out from this. There's something about like your decisions or your conversation with or about these particular men. Now, okay, this could have to do with like particular men, like in your family, especially like, you know, grandpa, dad, something like that, your stance on that, your conversations with them, your conversations relative to things you guys used to talk about. But this doesn't have to be like an actual group of men that like congeal together, you know, that like actually know each other. This could be a certain type of man, you know, like that maybe share a certain hobby. Like maybe you used to go to a place where the men all, I don't know, maybe you were like a rock climber or something, and there's like a group of men that you hung out with like when you were rock climbing. This doesn't even have to be like too close of an association here, but there's some kind of like conversation. And then it's also like, do you like these men? Like, and again, I'm not meaning sexually. I just mean like that or not, or like you don't think or feel the same way about that kind of subset of man that you usually did or that you used to in the past. And this is like significant. And this is like the thread. Okay. Now you could be a man or you could not be a man. Like, but I think there's like there's gossip or conversation relative to like certain, this feels like water cooler kind of like conversation. And it doesn't feel like super salacious. It just feels like noteworthy in some kind of way. And I think I'm kind of getting the impression that, again, like there's some kind of karmic group of men that are like maybe congealed around some value. It's Libra energy, which is Venus, which is values. But again, relationships, but there's a defined position between like self and other that you no longer relate to, between yourself and them, or the way that they define something here. I don't know. You no longer relate to that. And there's conversation here about that. I feel like all of these men, or whoever's having this conversation, and you are all in the same karmic pool. You have the same karmic debt is what I'm hearing. You have the same, karmic lessons. But I'm getting that energetically. I think that it's funny, I get this rock climber mentality. So I'm getting you climbing out like a crab in a bucket. You were the crab that like got out of the bucket first, and they were all trying to pull you down. Either energetically, this might well be your soul pod kind of a thing, you know, and energetically, you were the first one to kind of climb out, you know, of that. And they were maybe wanting to hold on to your energy or like get you to stay with them or something, but you climbed out. And it's meant to be inspiring. And I'm seeing like somebody here could be leading this like gossip or this conversation because they're right behind you. They're actually like the closest one to your energy that it's kind of like, I don't know, thinking about this. It's meant to start a movement. It's meant to start like a momentum, if that makes sense, where people are supposed to kind of figure out what you figured out. They're supposed to sort of follow you. I don't think it's necessarily to follow you. I just think you were the first one out the bucket. And so they're pulling on this thread, and I'm kind of getting this image of like pulling on the thread and then like a whole sweater unraveling. But the sweater is a karmic pattern. It's like a holding pattern, an energetic pattern of something that was kind of woven together and then like held together. But spirit is really wanting this to be dismantled because it's like not good and it's not appropriate. And it's like, cause see this, it's like you climbed out of this bucket and then there's a rainbow here. There's like a bright new day here. So it's like you climbing out of this like had to do with some kind of storms. Some kind of storms here elevated you. And honestly, there's something energetic again, like going on behind the scenes here where, okay, you guys know that I really like to listen to like hypnosis stuff, like not, like I got there for a while. I was really into books like Journey of Souls and the work of Dr. Brian Weiss, where these are doctors in psychology that have learned hypnosis, and then they just happened to be using hypnosis. They didn't even really fully believe in hypnosis, like to a large degree. They just happened to be using that technique with their patients, and they discovered that they could put them under to a level that they started kind of talking about pre-life time. And I find an interest in that. So they've written these books where they kind of document the things that were said by their patients, and they kind of cluster them together of like, and you start to notice there are like certain patterns. Okay. So I'm kind of getting, there's this energetic backdrop of like a soul group. Like you actually, I can kind of relate this to myself because I'm kind of roguish in my soul. Like I'm kind of a rake. I kind of like am that way in my soul. I kind of feel though, and like a lot of like soulmate energies of mine, people that I just vibe with, even on a friend level, they have that sort of natural charisma, rakish, roguish kind of energy, men and women, by the way. But I think like I've just reached a level in my like soul's development where I find it wrong. Like I just find it like something about that is just like absolutely not okay. It doesn't sit well with me. And I know that I've been working like the last like few lifetimes. I just know this about myself, that I'm just like distancing myself. There's no like reason that I can't be that. It's just there's a certain way we treat people, and there's a certain way I'm not okay treating people. And I just think that I'm probably a part of some kind of soul pod where I genuinely have these like kind of soul connections with people that have that kind of roguish quality about them. But I think I'm the first one to kind of be out. And I think a lot of my friends, like my soul friends that like come in, I've run with them forever. I think they kind of been pulling my energy back. Like, no. And I'm also hearing like to do with that, there's the whole like F-boy to like traditional patriarchal podcaster bro asshole like pipeline, you know? So it's like not all these like roguish types. Like that's what I'm saying. There's a certain maybe like commitment energy or like way that you fit in, like that you related to these kind of men in the past or felt like, you know, that was, you could be a man relating to this and it's like, oh yeah, like we all kind of roll together, but then you're like, no, actually morally I can't look at myself in the mirror. Like I'm not okay with this. I'm like busted out of this, you know. Or it's like, yeah, this is the kind of guy that I want to be with, or this is the way that I think things should be between men and women. Like you no longer think that because of stormy experiences, maybe that you've even had with this group. So this soul group on an energetic level trying to pull you back down. Like, don't you want this? Isn't this where you belong? Like might have like effed you up to the point where you were like, get off me. Like I'm just kind of picturing like a spiritual shove of like, I don't like this. I don't like being treated like this. This is not okay. You know, like, yeah, and so you like it actually maybe like kind of motivated you. So there's a certain level up like via storms where you got out on this like other side here, and it's like rainbows. And I feel like they're meant to kind of like follow behind you. So again, this is you kind of this is again you embodying these two kind of archetypes of like I understand where you're coming from. I get that. I'm moving on. I'm growing. I'm growing. I'm like moving on. This no longer serves me. This needs, and that's just an example, like the roguish thing. There's something here. It's like you used to fit in. You used to kind of believe this, either like on the periphery or like defining yourself as like an other to the way that like you engage with this group. And I want to remind you, for some of you, this is an actual group. This is like your family, the men in your family. And I think it's men. And your family could be the ones talking about this, your entire family, but they're all discussing your relationship to like a certain person or a certain man, like that you are different. And I think this difference, you make all the difference. I'm seeing like the rain bears, and I just heard Care Bears. Oh, Care Bear stare. Maybe there's like a stare. Maybe they're staring at you or something, and they're wanting to know, again, with that sun energy here, it's like how you believe, what your philosophy is now. Like they're trying to gain that. And I do think you're actually very beloved by this group. This feels lifetimes. This feels like you run with these people, group of stallions kind of thing, running together. But you just don't fit there anymore. And it's got to be okay. I'm hearing you got to let me go. But these people are actually meant to follow you because they like you and they love you. They want some more of you and they wish you'd come back around. But it's kind of like, yeah, I'm hearing that shake and bake from Talladega Nights. And it's like, no, never again. Never again. I'm just not that way. This just doesn't fit me anymore. Just doesn't suit me anymore. Oh yeah. So we've got Baron Samedi, which he is from the voodoo tradition, and he has a wife. Actually, I can't remember her name, but she's like very traditional, and she like just stays in like the home. But he's like a partier. He's always at the bar. He's always drinking and philandering and stuff. So maybe like you no longer want to be around these kind of people, or this is how you see a group of people and you didn't used to see them that way, you know? So again, like there's just, that's, yeah. And then we've got the death card here. Yeah, it's like the end of that. There's some kind of transformation, or people kind of know the time is running out. This even could just be because you're like growing up, you know? I think there's this kind of knowing that you're leaving. I've just heard love will keep us together, but it's like, okay, like we're still going to hang out, right? But I think there's some sort of connection that's only based on something that just, I don't know, just doesn't suit you anymore. There could be something around like a certain time of year. Okay, like maybe coming back around for the holidays. Like, and then we'll get to see each other then, like at the holidays, or like, you're still going to get shit-faced drunk on St. Patrick's Day, right? Like, there's something here like that. Scales, keep your life in balance. I think, to keep happy. Too much concern with sexual matters. Career, plenty of material things. Dealings or relationship with a woman with blonde, gray, or white hair. Someone will gossip about your secrets and a wish will be granted. So, yeah, there actually could be a woman here. Again, this could be a woman in your family. It says like gray hairs, could be an older woman. Somebody here could be gossiping about your secrets. Yeah, there could also be talk here about a job or a raise that you got, or will get, or are in the process of getting. So let me just see if there's anything else that's wanting to come through here. There could be a lot of talk about what you're not going to do. So I don't know if you've had a certain conversation where you're like, I will, like you've set a hard boundary, but this is like, I no longer accept this in my life. This kind of talk. That's the other thing. It's like, this could be even as simple as you might have set a hard boundary, like at a family Thanksgiving or something. And you were like, we're not going to talk about politics. No, I just refuse to have this conversation with you. So there could be a lot of talk around, oh, and maybe it's the men. Maybe the men are like, well, they used to talk with me about that, but now they don't want to talk with me about this. Like, yeah. You could have set a hard boundary with people where you're like, I'm absolutely not going to do this. I'm absolutely not going to talk about this. So they're talking about that amongst themselves about like, okay, well, if we want them to come around for the holidays, then we can't talk about this or that, or I don't know. Ugh. Yeah, they're talking about you jumping into some kind of new experience. Some of these people feel judged, but it's meant to transform them. It's healthy judgment. Like you're making a decision for yourself. And I think for some of these people, it's natural for them to like internalize that. Oh, the lovers. Maybe you've made a choice. Some of you, it's like you're just with somebody now and you are not going to be a jerk. Like you're going to live up to your promises. That's important to you. You're going to be the person that you want to be with. Yeah. You're healing your heart. You could have, yeah, for some of you, this could be like you got back together with someone and you broke their heart in the past and it was just not okay with you. That's actually really unbecoming to just go around breaking hearts. And you're like, no, I'm not going to do that anymore. It's not the kind of person I want to be. Or there's some talk about that somebody broke your heart and they really should not have done that. And their behavior should have been better. And so there could be some kind of discussion here. And that could have to do with this group here. Yeah. They're just kind of like maybe surrendering to the process. Some of these people just feel like you're immovable in some kind of way. Yeah, there's no talking to you. Like you've made up your mind about something. This isn't even, I don't think this is a bad thing. I would take this as a compliment. It's a compliment to me to be this self-determined and to have people recognize that. So I just want to put that courage in you. It's a good thing for you to be known as somebody who is very self-determined. But yeah, like they and some of these people might even be gossiping about like, well, I've tried to get through to them. I've tried to get them to see my side of things. 7 of Swords in a sneaky way. This could even be in conversation where it's like, I tried to kind of, float the idea. I tried to kind of hot dog pill it to them, but they just weren't having it. I even tried to offer them something. They could have tried to make you an offer to sweeten the deal of like, well, I paid their cover charge and then they still didn't want to come out to the bar. Like, yeah, so there's a lot of talk about like your dedication to actually making a change and having a new beginning for yourself. This is actually very inspiring if these people can just look at it that way. It's actually very inspiring that you have the strength to be able to do this, to be self-determined, how many people, like think about, New Year's resolutions. How many of us have failed countless New Year's resolutions? It's a rare thing for somebody, a human adult who has habits and like, it's a rare thing for somebody to be that determined and then actually follow through on their determination. It's actually quite a compliment and it can be very inspiring. Even if they don't want to follow in your exact same footsteps, there's certainly something that they could apply this to in their life. I think they respect you. I think that there's respect here. And I do think that there's like conversation around trying to respect your newfound self while maintaining a sense of like otherness, like how to do that. I do think there's conversation around that. There still could be like that sadness, that judgment, that, things are never going to go back to the way they were. People are going to mourn that. That's normal. That's necessary. And you don't owe them anything about you being somebody that you're not anymore. You don't owe people that. So, and I do think these people want you in their life. I do think that they, or some of them do, like they care about you. And so they're willing to figure out a new path forward. I think there might be some fear that maybe there's an incompatibility between who you want to be and who you have been in the past and like whether or not things are salvageable. But yeah, I'm not really getting a disrespectful vibe of this. It's more just like they're trying to understand or something here like that. So, okay, that's what I'm getting from my boundaries. Yeah, freedom from those structures. I think there's some level of testing here too of like, there could be just a new order of things, like new boundaries set. So some people are like, well, we have to be careful about the boundaries. And some people may be being kind of histrionic about that, like, or they're just going to freak out. Because I'm sorry, but it's just a normal part of human conversation and interaction. Even if you have to be firm with somebody and be like, I said what I set the boundary I set, and this really has crossed my boundary. Even if you have to get firm with somebody, normalize that. That's like, they shouldn't be like afraid. And also you being strong in your conversation and being firm in your boundaries. I said what I said. I meant what I said. That's not you being cruel. That's not you being angry. That's not you being, you're just being firm. You're being matter of fact. You're letting somebody know if you push here, it's not moving. That's different than being angry. So again, understand that from your side. If you have weird conversations or interactions here with these people, that there's some personalization, there's some internalizing, and they need to get over that. Because what you do is not personal to them, and you have every right to set your own like standards and expectations and then to hold and defend those. And again, it doesn't make you all the things. These are maybe some people who can only really view you. Again, there could be some kind of like, I'm trying to figure out a way to say this because there's a term, just small-mindedness that they can't see. These are people that have to graduate out of not taking everything personal. Not everything that everybody else does is because of them or is in response to them. Some of us are just very self-determined. So, okay. That's pile number 2. That's pile number 2. Respect for male incarnation, but damn. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay, Chris just said, Jess, you should have a book club because you mentioned books that I personally would enjoy reading. I have thought about that so many times. I tried to do it on Patreon, but I did it really sloppy and I didn't really do it like in an entertaining, fun kind of way. But can I tell you that there's books that I literally have, like, I know which ones I would do first and second and third and fourth, like if I had a book club. So if that's something that you guys want, like we don't have to do it on this channel. I could even have another channel, or like maybe that's something that we can do on Patreon where literally like we can read books together and like discuss. I would love that. I would seriously love that. Also, I haven't been in the reading mood, which kind of breaks my heart because I do like to read, but I just feel like I have so much stuff on my plate. But if it was productive for me, then I feel like that would help shift me like back into that. Because I just got this book. I think I was telling you guys this, that I wanted to read. I checked out from the library as many times as like I was allowed to, and I just like didn't read it. And I was like, this makes me really sad because I really wanted to read that book. It's just like I can't seem to find the time, or like whenever I have free time, I just rather do something else. But oh my gosh, please, yes, book club. You'll be so down. Let's get one on Discord. Okay, maybe we can do that. Yes, Patreon. Okay, yeah, Discord channel. Yeah, we have a Discord channel that we could revive it. Nobody really used it. I think Patreon has its own version of Discord.
Kind of.
Okay.
They're
trying.
Not really quite there yet.
Okay. Yes, for Patreon, I need to catch up on the non-Jess readings there. And put my twos. Oh, yeah. Oh my gosh, I shared some really interesting things we should discuss later. Okay, doesn't have to be back-to-back reading. Yeah, once in a while. Yeah, a lot of times when I get into a book though, it's like I really like when I actually get into it. I get into it. But okay, yeah, we'll definitely talk about that then. Okay, waitlist is not open yet. We're still working on some bugs here. We've had some other things like kind of come up. Okay. Recently started Women That Run with the Wolves, such a good one. Okay, I love this. All right. I'm sorry if this is like off topic for some of you, but this is the joy of like coming to a live stream, and I like to take a break, especially between piles 2 and 3, just to kind of rest. Bi-weekly check-ins once a month. Yeah, like, and what, I don't know, we should have maybe we can do a live stream over there where we can talk about what you guys want out of a book club, because also the thing that intimidates me is like leading the discussions, because I don't know what we're supposed to be talking about, or like, I know some books actually when you go to their website, they have book club things to do. But I don't really know about that. But I know the topics that interest me, so maybe I can just like do that and we can all do that. Anyways, okay, yes. Voodoo feet, oh my gosh. Okay, so maybe we'll figure out the book coven, and we'll figure out like the book list, and we'll like get that all out. Okay. Retreat soon. Oh yeah. Oh yes. Okay. What deck are we on? We're getting ready for pile number 3. Okay, yeah. Yay for book coven. Okay, maybe that will be like the Patreon tier, so you can like opt in or opt out. Like, okay, so we'll have it separate. So if you don't want to participate, you don't have to. Okay, moving along here to pile number 3, the gem. Okay, I just heard chim chimney, chim chimney, chim chim chiroo. So maybe some of you, like, there's a sing-songy nature to you. Okay. Oh, this is cute. So what's the gossip on you guys, pile number 3? I'm picturing my husband, who is like my favorite person in the world. So I feel like the gossip about you is very positive, like, and loving. But when I saw him like pruning a plant, and he was like talking to the plant, like he does, and he was like, we're just gonna like trim these off of you because you're gonna have like much more nutrients if you don't have to like waste your energy like sending it off to like the dead parts of you, kind of a thing. So you could have gone through a pruning process. For some of you, this is somebody who like does your hair or something, and they're like, we're just gonna trim off the little dead ends. And I think they're saying that you're a gem, like you're yeah. Or this could be like somebody who works on behalf of women, or works to like a makeup artist, somebody who does your nails, somebody who like makes women their best, even like a therapist or something. And they're just saying like, we're just gonna bring out, like, you're a gem. There's something about like bringing out your gem like qualities, something like that, that they could be gossiping like about you or something. Okay, but I think that you could have gone through your own pruning process where you were getting rid of old baggage. This could be literal for some of you. So you could have had like a garage sale or something, an estate sale, something. And maybe people have like really found gems. Like you might have, okay, there's something, yeah, people say very high things about you. So if that's the case, people have like really, they find your stuff to be interesting. Or if people even have been to your house recently and they've been looking around, everywhere they look, it's like they find like a little gem, or it's like, you know, they pick up like a coaster and they're like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. This is made from like teak wood and like whatever. Like there's just gems. They could be talking about your jewelry, your gems, like something here about that. But I think that for a lot of you, you've gone through a pruning process. Maybe you weren't doing so well in the past. Oh, this was kind of, remember I said there might have been a connection between pile number 1 and pile number 3. This is the difference. Have you ever heard that quote that says people who love you, the right people hear you different? That's what it is. The right people hear you different. So we have kind of a similar path in pile 1 and in pile 3, where you could have gone through some kind of level up. Because I'm getting in the past, like maybe you were that little plant and you were struggling, and there could be a part, these are people that are like, oh yeah, well this person was struggling in this way or that way, but you know, we're just going to get them, you know, pruned up a little bit in this way, pruned up a little bit in that way, and they're just going to be spick and span good as new. And they're talking about you very highly. They're like, and once we just take care of this little thing and that little thing, I mean, you are just going to be a gem. You are just going to be like good to go, you know? It's a very positive kind of like tone here with this last group, because the right people hear you differently. So again, like you could have gone through some kind of level up process. You could also, these are people in your corner. These are also people that are like, I always knew it. I always knew pile number 3 had that in them. I always knew they were special. I always knew they had that kind of quality to them, and that one day they were going to, you know, plant their roots and find their place. These are your cheerleaders. I'm getting goosebumps. This feels really, really good. This is positive. This is so, so positive. But also like the gem, this has to do with like the diamond in the rough. And notice like all the little wormies and stuff that are like around. That reminds me of the underworld card here. And so I think there's some kind of conversation about like your underworld journey, or having been through the muck and the mire and the crap and like all the crap that you kind of have been through, but that it's really made you a gem. It's really made you interesting. It's really made you unique, and it wasn't a guarantee. These are definitely people who give you your credit. These are definitely people who give you your just desserts, because, you know, I'm hearing any old person can have a hard time. We all have hard times. It's not a given that just because you've been under pressure and that you've been through shit situations that you're going to turn yourself into a gem. That is not a given. There's something in a person that allows them to transmute that energy. That's where the strength comes from. And regardless of what it is that you do, like what it is, like, because some of you make jewelry. So, and if you make jewelry, like if you're a craft, like if you make jewelry, I'm really getting some of you make jewelry, then these people think that is great. And that you make really good jewelry, high quality. If you make something like it's really great. It's really like high quality. Yeah. And I just feel like these are people who think whatever, regardless of what it is that you do that is like interesting or spectacular or that people pay money for or find interest in, regardless of what that specific thing is, you are the secret ingredient that they recognize. And these are also people who maybe have gone through their own version of that. These are also people who are not, so we ain't never hating in the shade room. We ain't never hating in the shade room because we have our own. And these are people who've gone through their own process. So they get it. They understand, like, these are people that have had their own struggles to get to their own oasis, their own like cliffside things. So they recognize that in you, that the thing that makes the difference in you, there's something internal that makes you a fighter, that makes you not quit, that makes you able to learn so much more than other people. Like, this was not wasted on you. Something here was not wasted on you. Yeah, not wasted on you. There's something here about that I'm missing. There's not wasted on you. If you want to invest in this person, it's not a waste. Like, that's what I'm getting. Like, oh, I just got goosebumps. Like, if you want to give to this person, if you want to spend time with this person, it's, there's something about your conversation. Every time that person comes in, there's a gem. Every time I talk to that person, I come away with something valuable. It's literally never a wasted time. Literally not. If you want to invest in them, if you want to spend time with them, I literally always walk away with something interesting, something valuable, something unique, or even just precious moments. And also this gem is like multifaceted. So there's a lot. This is exactly what I was talking about. The right people hear you different. I feel like this could be a lesson here. Because Spirit is wanting you to not dim your light, because yes, people talk about you in the pile number one way of like being jealous and being bitter, but those people might be the loudest, and that could just be energetically the loudest, like you look up and somebody's giving you like the evil eye or something. But don't stop what you're doing, because there are people that view you in the pile number 3 light, that they're the right people, hear you the right way. Don't stop, because it's a quality within you. Like, these people, the way they speak about you says a lot about themselves and where they're at in their own and how they relate to their own, and if they have their own, like, so it's not a quality. It's not something, people's opinions of you, it's not inherently a quality within you, or it is, but like, people can see the goodness of it. These people need to go off somewhere, like pile number 1. Tell me why, like, it's my business that you can't figure out to go off somewhere, so yeah, people just say that you're such a gem, and that, yeah, like, there's something about like just kind of like digging through and being able to find something here that's like, such a gem, and like that multifaceted nature. And also it's very colorful. It's very vibrant. So I think like you're the type of person, like, you add color, zhuzh, pizzazz. Also, like, it might not seem like it at first. It's like, I just thought that this was going to be like a regular interaction that I had with a regular human, but then bam, like, you had this like bam quality. It's a sucker punch, but it's like a good kind of sucker punch. I'm also picturing, like, remember Warheads when we were kids, like the candy, and it's like sour at first, but then it's really, really sweet. So for some of you, there could be something like maybe you have like RBF, or there's something about your appearance or something where people are like, yeah, I thought that person was going to be really stuck up because they have like money, or because like they're really attractive, or maybe you just have RBF. Maybe you're constantly, I'm an air sign. I'm like always in my mind. So I'm sure that like my face gets away from me sometimes, but like, then like when people talk to you, they're like, oh no, but this person's such a gem. Like, really, I wasn't sure about it. Like, yeah. But also the sour thing might have to do with, at first, maybe you said something or you introduced an idea and it was like sour in their mouth because they weren't used to like experiencing it. But then it paid off. This also could have been some advice that you've given. Advice, like, because this is a group that's been through an underworld journey. And so it's like, things about things in life that are unpleasant. Let's just say that. And so maybe people know that about you, or like there's something, I don't know. You've gone through experiences that are unpleasant, and the gem quality that you bring, it's like when you start talking about that, you could be the type of person that when you're talking about really uncomfortable topics or something, they know it's not useless. They know why you were talking about those uncomfortable topics, because you enriched their life somehow, or you gave them a different perspective somehow on like the topics that you brought up. This is like somebody who's not afraid to talk about like S work, or the seedier sides of like human life or something like that. And it's like, no, we need to talk about it because it's going on. And if we can understand this, this, and this, and like, yeah, there's like, yeah, it's a real, you're a gem. You're so unique. You're a one-off. Like, that's really what people are saying, is like, you'll never meet another person like that. The diamond in the rough. You'll never meet another person like that. in a good way, in a good way. I don't know. Yeah. Like a lot of people are like, I don't know how you make a person like that, but it happened, you know, it truly happened. Yeah. So let's just see what else. I'm hearing, I always look forward to seeing them. These are, some people are saying they can listen to you for hours because they never know where they never know where the conversation is going to go with you. But they always look forward to where it's going to go. But I don't think that was always the case. They might have dreaded it at first, but then like, yeah. So there could be talk here, Capricorn, your elevation in life. This is mirroring pile number 1. Something that you do for work, something that you've grown into in regards of your work. You know, a promotion that you might have received that is well-deserved. These are people that are like, I'm so glad that person got promoted. That person worked so hard. People have slept on that person for so long. Yeah. I think these people, look, they're looking right at these salty ass people too. So they might also be talking about the people who have their eye on you in a negative way. And they're like, they're just jealous because this person's a gem. They're just jelly because this person is a gem. Yeah. There's been some kind of completion here of a cycle. And this could have resulted in your elevation or your promotion. And they talk about that. But these are people that are very much connecting the dots between whatever it was that you went through and then like some kind of like elevation. And this is also, by the way, if you did marry well, if you're married, these people are like, I'm so glad that this person found a good guy or a good woman, you know, that really knows that they're a gem. I'm so glad. I'm really glad because they just deserve that. Like, you know, yeah, because people could want them for the wrong reasons because they're such a gem, or people have really put this person through hell and back and they just never deserved it. And it made them into a gem. But I'm just glad that like somebody like, you know, yeah, they could also be talking about like, that you're seductive. You might have like a, I don't know. There's some kind of draw in. I feel like there's a switch, but it's not like a bait and switch. Like, oh, I feel taken advantage of. It's a positive switch. You're so much more than people even thought that you were. It's refreshing. I'm hearing it's a refreshing change of pace because most people lead with like, I'm the greatest, I'm the baddest, I'm the coolest, I'm the this. With you, you're very understated. And as people get to know you, it's like, oh, badao. It's like that badao, like, holy shit. But you have genuine value here because people have genuine value. A lot of times they come off very defensive. They are kind of like cool not to engage like at first. But it's like, there's just so much more to you. You might also have like a lot of interests, a lot of hobbies, a lot of knowledge because it's this multifaceted nature of the diamond and all the facets shimmer in the light and give like a different kind of quality. So you're just an enigma. You're somebody that's hard to stick into a category in a good way. And these are people that appreciate that and praise that because they probably have their own version of that where they know they branch out to qualities and stuff. And like, yeah, they could talk about spirituality here. They talk about the different reactions here that you get. I think they talk about how maybe they thought that you should be snobbier. You'd think that you'd be snobbier is what I'm hearing. Like if I had that talent or if I looked like that or if I was, if I was that multifaceted, I would be, if I had that much knowledge, I would be this way, I would be that way. Like, why do you sell yourself short? That's really like, yeah. And so there's also a noticeable quality about you and the people who have a problem with you about how they're actually very snobby. People who have a problem with you, they have half the things you have at most, and they have way more of the ego that you have, and they're way more flashy and they're way more proud of like who they are. They really strut their stuff, and maybe they shouldn't strut it as much. Maybe they should, you know, share the spotlight is what I'm getting. And so they've noticed that a lot of people get jealous about your shine, but you are legitimately more, and you could never be understated enough for these people. That's what I'm hearing. Like they say that they're like, you know, you'd think that pile number 3 would be the snobby one, and they're not. They're like actually really cool, and they're really gentle, and they're really they offer up their knowledge or they offer up their skill set, but never when they're not asked, and they're not boastful. And but then these other people that want to project that out, they're the ones that are actually snobby. They're the ones that are actually very cruel to that person. And for those of you who are on Patreon, the last video that I shared there, it wasn't a reading. It was I shared it because it was such an interesting look into like the female experience, and especially like for beautiful women. And just PSA, like beautiful women really need our help and our support. And I'm not talking about the ones who are mean and who are snobby and who want to steal your man or compete with you. They are fine. They probably already have a backup plan. They're going to jump from, if this man doesn't work out, they've got that man. They don't need us. But I'm talking about our kind of people that are genuine people and they're good people and they just happen to be very physically attractive or very successful. Because that video that I shared over there on Patreon, it really did show how like not having like that solid group of women just like can tear somebody down. And this is like, I'm getting goosebumps. This is like very much a group of women who it's like, if you're cool, we're cool, you know? And I love to see, I know it pissed you off to see me winning. So that's like pile number one, but these are people that they're like, they love it when you win. You probably love it when they win. That's also could be something that these people have noticed in you, that like you're genuinely happy for them and it's not performative. And, or if there's something that they're not getting quite right, and something needs to be pruned or something needs to be, you offer that up. If there's something here, you will be honest with them and you will be like, you know what? There, that was getting in your way. Where like a lesser woman, especially, or like a lesser man, I'm a woman and I know kind of like female spaces, but like there are some women that like compete with you silently and it's like, they'll know what it is that you're messing up on and they won't help you because then they think that it's going to make you more better than them or like more competitive, and it's going to help you, but it's not that you would ever, you're just not the type of person to ever leverage that to like take away something from someone else. You're just not that person. And so you're a kind of person that you can genuinely be friends with and friendly with. And it's really noticed and really appreciated. And there's something about you that really puts people at ease. Yeah. Like people just, your heart, people notice your mind and people notice your heart, and both are on and both are in tandem. And it's just such a refreshing state of, you have no ego. That's like literally what I'm hearing. I think there might be something about you again that's like precious. And I think people are like, somebody will bring it up. They'll be like, oh, this person's really rich, or like this person's really wealthy, or they're very intellectual or something, or even they're very beautiful. And literally like that some other person here will be like, they don't have an ego about it. It's literally not a thing. It's never come up. Like, you know, it's like there's something here like that. And it's really, really refreshing. But I also think that, again, you could have illuminated Pisces is something spiritual. You could have like spiritual beliefs. That might be the thing about you that's like a gem. It's like maybe you just come off like very mundane. I love these kind of people. They come off very mundane, but you're actually very spiritual. You don't rub it in people's faces. You know, you're not like out there evangelizing with your Bible, you know, hitting people when they walk by, tell them they're all going to hell. Like you're not that person, but it's like when you do kind of open up, it's not evangelical. It's not offensive in any way. Like it's not offensive, but it's not offensive. You're not like going out, like it's a very nice energy like around, you know? So people, yeah. And maybe people think that you have different kind of like spiritual gifts than what they're used to, or spiritual beliefs. And some people might have heard that about you or something, like, oh, they're very spiritual, and they don't know what that means, because to them, they're probably used to being around the evangelical Christian types. Like Christianity is by far like a huge like religion compared to people who are just kind of like spiritual. And I think people kind of maybe have developed an understanding of what spiritual people are like, so they're kind of expecting that, so maybe they kind of bristle, and people are like, no, they literally never talk about it. If you don't talk about it with them, they're not going to talk about it with you. It's literally never come up, you know. Yeah, but also like Pisces is kind of like the attic of the mind, so you could have illuminated things like in the attic. I'm going back to some of you like have heirlooms or something in your attic, or some people were like rummaging through your stuff, and or maybe you're good at this, maybe you have an eye. Oh, okay, so yeah, like rummaging through your stuff in the attic or something. For some of you, it's like you have family heirlooms. Some of you could have had an experience with somebody where you were going through, like, you helped them go through their attic or something. You have like an eye. I just heard queer eye for the straight guy. Okay. So with your decorating, but I think you have an eye for aesthetics. Like your home is nice, your jewelry is nice, you're well like put together. People comment on that. You might have also gone to other people's homes, and it's like you're like, ooh, I love this thing, and they're like, that was like the most expensive thing in the room, or that was like so precious to my grandmother, and that person like went right over to it. It's like you have this eye for value and you really appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? It's more than just a general compliment of like, oh, I really love your space. You went right over to something actually that this person knows is valuable, or that this person knows is really nice, and you recognize the quality. I'm getting goosebumps again. Like the quality of it gave somebody goosebumps, you know, when you notice the details and you notice the quality. Also with clothes, I think some of you may be like, you know, really into like textiles or fabrics, and you're like, this is linen, or this is like silk, or, you know, Yeah, something like you went right over, you kind of like knew that. And people kind of bristle in pride. They're like, yeah, you noticed. Like, I put some extra time and effort into this, or I spent extra money on this because I knew it was the nice one. And you noticed. You noticed. You noticed. That's the other thing is like, you're a person you notice. Like, and also you might notice when people put in a little extra effort, like in their behavior, or you might be really good with kids with this too. Your kids might actually talk about that or really appreciate that. Some of your kids they want to wear your clothes or something. Check your kids' rooms for some of you. They have your shirt. But yeah, no, or some of your kids talk about you with their friends because they're like, my mom will know. They're like, oh, I don't know, like what I want to do. And they're like, my mom will know. Maybe my mom will take us, or we'll have my mom look at it. Like, you just have developed, this is beautiful. I'm getting goosebumps. Or you're that friend where people actually don't take it for granted if people ask you your opinion, because they're specifically asking you your opinion because they know, they've seen that you do recognize value, like whenever it's around. And so genuinely, they're not arbitrarily asking. So some of you might just think, oh, this is like kind of a normal thing in human interactions. No, like it's a compliment. These people are asking you because you always notice quality. Like, you've demonstrated it. You've demonstrated a knowledge of quality or something like that. Okay, I think some of you have kids, you have like teenager kids, and they talk a lot about you. There's a lot of like, I wish my mom was like your mom. I wish I could talk to my mom about the things you talk to your mom about. And I think some of it's spirituality, or like the tarot, or intuitive gifts. Some of your friends may have friends that have some kind of psychic gift that they don't understand. Or they know that they're energetically sensitive, and maybe their home environment doesn't believe in that, or it's just not as soothing or peaceful. There's really an element of kids coming to your house and finding it fascinating. Some of you own like just really interesting things, or you have an interesting style of decorating, and it's like, whoa, that they haven't seen before, and they really like it. And I think this is just people in general, but there is an emphasis here on like kids, little kids coming to your house or something and saying, yeah, tell me about that. Like, or I wish my house was like your house. I wish I could live here, kind of a thing. So always make it a point to compliment nice outfits. Yeah, and it's so not surface level with you too. And people know it. People know the difference between like, oh, this is like really nice versus like, where did you get this really nice walnut bowl, And it's like, I got it antiquing. I got a really nice walnut bowl. I got it for $10 at an antique shop, and I want someone to notice it. So if you want to come to my house, I'm waiting for the day that somebody's like, this is a very nice walnut bowl. I have it very prominently placed in my home. So maybe that's what I'm saying. Maybe somebody's like that. It's like, I've been waiting for somebody to notice that bowl. I'm hearing that SNL skit. Bowl on the toilet, bowl on the shelf, bowl of M&Ms, I can help myself. She puts out these bowls for me, and any bowl I like I get for free, cause I'm a back home baller. And my granny says I look taller. Yeah, back home ballers, you should just watch that. But the whole thing is like, they wait on me like I'm sickly. That's the life of a back home baller. So for some, it's like, again, this could be a kid thing, or it's like whenever people come back home, or whenever they like come to your house, it's like you take such good care of them. They're a back home baller. And it's like, and if I say I want tacos, my mom will make tacos. Like, there's something here like that. So, Janae just said, you guys are such beautiful pillars of your own network and communities. I feel like Spirit really does want you to understand that, because some of you might be criticized, but it's really coming from a place of like jealousy, envy, evil eye. Some people just, they get uncomfortable. Kill what you see if it threatens you. Like, they just get uncomfortable when they see somebody winning, or when they see somebody different, and they can't help but take it personally. Like, well, maybe something's wrong with me that I'm not that way, or you know what I'm saying? It's like, I don't know. It doesn't have anything to do with you, love, is what I heard. It just doesn't have anything to do with you, love. And they want you to, this is where, because this is kind of egoless energy for me. And it's like, they want you to have like, you can have enough of an ego to where it's like, you can just say like, it's fine for me to be myself. Yeah, that's what I have. That was a beautiful energy. I feel like I could have gone on and on and on. And that's, I think, another thing these people might say is like, they could go on and on and on and on and on about you and like your good qualities and your good traits. You're really just a good egg. You're really just a gem. I think these people you probably feel the same way about. They might be shocked that like you feel that way. But yeah, but they love you. They like you, they love you, they want some more of you. Do we have a sense of who's doing this gossiping? The gym. Well, yeah, I really think, okay, let's see. With this group specifically, no. I'm seeing Venus, so it could be women, but it's like people of value, people genuinely of value, some kind of values-driven people is what I'm hearing for pile number 3. And it could be women. This is women that have like a loving touch, or they could garden, these are women's women is kind of like what I'm getting. Just women who genuinely like other women. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm getting. I think this is a lot of, these are like your friends. If this is a male, this is kind of Venus dominant male, which is big D energy, first of all. This is somebody who's not going to be gossiping about a woman. This is, I think the men who appreciate you in this way, I think are quiet about it. Like they're not going to gossip about a woman. It's kind of just what I'm getting. It's very respectable. I'm secure in myself. Energy. Yeah. Oh, the bad gossip for the other piles. The first one, like I was saying, it's people that are not in your life anymore. People that you're not speaking to. People that are more in that like kind of animal energy. Like their base nature. They're very impulsive. They're very reactive. But they're just kind of low energies. They just don't have the capacity to do a lot of awareness work. And they're on the outside looking into your life. I don't think it's people that are like around you, anymore. And they have to make up in their mind why you're not around them. When I think for some of you, it's just time has really, there's an elevation in your spirit. Energetically, you just don't resonate on the same level. So there's kind of like just a repelling that's just naturally going on because you're not similar. Energetically, you're not similar enough to be near each other. Yeah. So they're not around you, I don't think. And then in pile number 2, I was really getting that I think it's family, or it's a group like that. It's a group where you used to go, and actually where you still go, but like are maybe in the process of leaving. And it might be the men that I referenced, but I think there's also women that are around or like associated with those men that are having that kind of conversation. And we did get the card of that blonde, gray haired woman, the fair woman, coming out, but I don't think that woman was very fair, to be honest, because it was like gossips about all your secrets. They try to give the appearance of fairness, but they're not actually being fair. And maybe that's what that woman has to say about you, that you're not being fair or something. But yeah, old friends, yeah, they know why. They don't know how to stop. Ro MF said, I think pile 3 is you, Jess. Thank you so much for saying that. All right, yeah. Women on women positive vibes. I was listening to somebody, they were talking about how women friends, they're talking about decentering men, and that women who center men, like in their minds, like in their thoughts, like they define themselves like relative to a man, a lot of times they're not good girlfriends. And I have thought about that for a long time, and I think that's actually true. So I think this pile number 3 would be women who have a sense of themselves like outside of what patriarchy kind of expects of them, or what a certain, they don't have to like go ask a man if it's okay to hang out with you, or like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, not that they're not in relationships to men, we all are in relationships to men. A lot of them are, wonderful and like deeply fulfilling relationships. It's just that you have, you are the center of your own existence, not in a self-centered kind of way, like as in arrogant, but it's like you are the center of your own energy and your own life and your own universe, because the world has always tried to take that away from women and other groups too, but like specifically women, because we're looked at as we're supposed to be, deferential, regardless of if we are truly valued and respected and whether it's safe for us to be in a situation or not. Sort of feels like we don't need general messages tonight. This was a hearty reading. Women who center men usually have the issue. Yeah. We taken out the back room. Okay. Do we not want the general message? You are the entire person. Act like it. Yeah, decentering men. Absolutely. I thought they were called pick-me women. Yeah, that is what they're called. Nikki, thank you so much for the super chat. And all 3 of the green hearts that match my shirt. Pile 3 felt general. Okay. Well, then maybe we won't do a general reading today. This was absolutely lovely. Good girl syndrome is a better term. I am definitely like person who used to have good girl syndrome. Also, like the same person I was listening to, she was like, the pick me thing is very much a spectrum. We're all on it. And it's just that we have to do the unpacking. Like we're all taught to be people pleasers in our own way. And it's a spectrum. And it's just something, you know, it feels good to be like admired, but you have to make sure that it's for the right reasons. And that's like going into like flattery versus praise, the difference between flattery and genuine praise. Yeah. I was awaiting some tea, but I ended up hyped up nice for a change. Yes, please do a general message. Okay, maybe I'll just do a small one then, if people are wanting it. Catherine, thank you so much for the super chat. You're amazing, Jess. Thank you. You're amazing too. You guys got to stop giving me this money. People are going to start gossiping about me and what I've done for you. I'm joking. I appreciate it so much. Women supporting other women. Okay. Let's just get a little guidance. We'll love a general if it's still on the table. It is. We can do like a general reading here. Okay. There's a childish rock bottom energy that you are sick and tired of. High value. Yeah, this kind of like is tying in with the rest of this. Self-love. Soulmates. Okay, so for some of you, this is a soulmate that you're connected to. However it is that you're relating to that. It'll probably be romantic, but it doesn't have to be like in terms of soulmates. Yeah, like somebody here could be planning. They were in a... Okay, somebody here was in a state of avoidance and a double life. This is somebody from your past. It pushed you into an energy of self-love. Loving you, taking back control, finally being happy. And I do think it's pushed somebody else here into planning to be able to come through for you in some kind of way that you needed. And I think this person has been at rock bottom. Also, we have envy, hater, spiteful, jealousy. So this is kind of that other energy because we've been looking in like to you. So for some of this is, yeah, and they're just being childish, immature, argumentative, playing the victim. So there's somebody here that's like at a rock bottom energy and they're playing the victim to you. I just heard growing a pair of ovaries and like standing up for yourself and being in this energy of self-love. Okay, so I think this is like kind of the general message Spirit's tying back in of like, you have to understand the energy that somebody else is in. And that's potentially why they take the stance on you that they are having. Okay, and then we have fighting and childish. It's like, it's childish to like fight over this because you're in an energy of self-love. And that should not be like, yeah, somebody here got caught or the red flags were called out and now they're supposed to be in a state of contemplation. Tiger Butterfly, thank you so much for the super chat. Just added it to my cart. Okay. Oh my gosh. I'm literally getting like a situation here from your past where you're this beautiful Pegasus energy. And this, I love this Pegasus. It looks like really beautiful, but it always looks angry to me. Like, I don't know if you can see the look on that Pegasus face. Just looks hurt and angry. And I feel like there could have been some kind of Eight of Wands moment here where this also could have been a group because this is a Hydra. It's multiple heads. It's a group that's all like spewing vitriol at you, but it's from their own, like with the moon here in the background and it looks like a sickly green, pale color moon. It's like from their own, like moon, fear, illusions, phobias, like mind. Again, like this is kind of tying back in with the messages. They're psychological crap, basically. And it was all like this Eight of Wands energy. But Eight of Wands, it could be like travel, a trip. It could involve that. It could have involved some kind of message that came through. Brody, thank you so much for the super chat again. Yeah, some kind of travel, some kind of message that came in or some kind of very fast sexual like something went on here. And it really deeply hurt you. And it made you like sad. And you are so unique and beautiful and you were like, fine, I'm just going to go to my rainbow place in the clouds here. And this person was in like pirate energy towards you. And there's a lot of love here. I can see that actually, regardless of how badly this person has behaved, I think they had to make you understand a certain way that they were. Like, they had to make you like leave them here. And they were in some pirate energy towards you. They were trying to pirate your emotions, or they were trying to take something from you. And this cycle has closed. This cycle has closed because of your self-love. You bossed up and you had self-love, and you should never feel bad about that. I think this was kind of like a common theme here, especially for pile 1 and 3, actually for all the piles. You bossed up here. You have self-love, you have self-respect and self-discipline here. That's nothing that you should ever be made to feel bad about. And people are struggling with themselves. Like, that's what's really going on here. Now, I'm not going to show you this card because YouTube's going to have a problem, but I've got the Lovers card here, and in this deck, it's like the succubus. So that's like, again, stealing like some kind of sexual energy. So these people might have thought like that you were soulmates in some way, but it was all built on a lie, and it was all built on some kind of, it was taking energy. That's what it is. They were taking from you. And for some of you, it was schmegdually, or using your schmegdual energy, which in some way, your charisma or they wanted something from you. They wanted to take without giving, and either use you to do this, or do this like with you, or do this to you. And now, these people are 9 of Swords, anxious, and it's not wrong for them to be anxious. Sometimes I've noticed this, like as human beings, because I'm a human, and so I've noticed this within myself first and foremost. But I've noticed this in other people as well, where it's like whenever we have a bad emotion, sometimes the snap judgment is to say, this feeling is bad, and because it's bad, I shouldn't be feeling it. No. Bad emotions, guilt, shame, anxiety, grappling with that, when it's like in the right context. When it's not in the right context, and this is just a default mode of being, you kind of need that help to be able to figure out why you're doing that, and a lot of times it was put there. But having those in appropriate situations is good. It's the wake-up call you need. It's alerting you to something's wrong about your behavior, about somebody else's behavior. So these people are having an anxiety-ridden emotion about the fact that you've left them. They feel like you don't have the truth, but this person betrayed you. They betrayed you. And they don't actually have the truth. They think you don't have the truth, but you have the truth about them. And then you made a decision to leave. And especially I can see like the energy that these people were in. They were never going to be able to make it okay with you. And you knew that they're just not in the right state of mind. They don't have the right perspective, or they don't have enough care and concern for other people. They're not open. I watched that interview with Dr. Mike and Dr. K, Jim, to totally watch it. But at one point, Dr. K says to Dr. Mike, he was like, I just realized that I'm talking to somebody with a closed mind. You've made up your mind on this issue. So there's really no point in us having this conversation. And he was like, Dr. Mike was like, no, I don't think I have. But then he was like, okay, maybe I have actually like made up my mind on this. And so I'm basically being a brick wall to you. And, we're throwing words at each other's faces. And we're even doing it with a nice tone and everything, but we're not having a real conversation. And I'm not actually open to hearing the things that you're saying. I can recognize and acknowledge that. That conversation is just a demonstration. If nothing else, it is a demonstration of how to have a genuinely enriching, respectful conversation, like between people who are both intelligent and who both bring a lot to the table but don't agree on something. And you knew that wasn't a possibility, like with this person, because where Dr. Mike was able to be like, okay, I understand. Like, no, you're right. I'm closed off. I have made up my mind about this because I've seen this and this, but like you knew this person could never meet you in that place. So step 1 is not met. Condition 1 is not met to having like a genuine exchange. But then this is the kind of person that would then turn that on you and be like, well, they refuse to sit down and have a conversation. Therefore, they're not being fair. They're not Libran. When actually you're the most Libran because you've assessed the situation. This is not a time for diplomacy. This person's not adequate. And that's what they're afraid of. And they need to be making themselves adequate. And they're not. And part of making themselves adequate is demonstrating that they can neutralize their own emotions, that they can self-regulate their own emotions, that they can deal with themselves in a room. They can't. This person can't deal with themselves in a room. And that's something that is, because if they did, they would have come at you a certain way. I'm hearing there's a certain way you treat somebody when you value them. This person, I think, you knew that you were not being valued in a situation. This person didn't think you knew that. This person maybe thought that they were getting away with something. Pirate energy. They thought they were getting away with something. And that says a lot about a person who thinks that they are getting away with something and therefore they don't need to own up to certain things. It says a lot about a person. And it says all you need to know. says all you need to know here. So this person is, I think they have mental health issues about this, honestly. I think this is keeping this person up at night. They have like nightmares. This is having a major effect on their mind. Like this is somebody who's like had a mental fragmentation. It's like they're constantly running from this moment, whatever went on between you. Anissa, thank you so much for the super chat. This person cannot face how they were, who they are. Essentially, that's what it is. This person cannot face who they are. They can't, so then they can't even face who they are in reality. This person believes a fantasy and a lie about themselves. They're not actually checking what they believe about themselves against their own behavior. This is also a person, this is going to come out in the Patreon reading tomorrow for those of you who are over there. I can't remember which pile it is, but one of the piles I was like, there's some if-then statements going on here, that like a hypothesis where, and I didn't say this in the Patreon reading, but it came to me afterwards. Emily, thank you so much for the super chat. But it's like, this person is looking at you and saying, if you felt this way about me, then you would have done this, this, and this. Just not true. If you were a good person, you would have done this, this, and this. Okay. Like, so it's very limited thinking and they're not making space for you. What this person's unable to do is turn that shit around. If they were a good person, they wouldn't have done this shit to you. If they were a good person, they would have initiated a conversation. If they were a capable person, they would have dealt with their own emotions. This person is lacking in a lot of ways, and they are not holding themselves to the same standard that they are holding other people to. This is a habit in this person's life. This person wronged you in no uncertain terms. The shit stink coming from this pile is coming from them. It is coming from them, and they know it too. They just didn't think you knew it. But this person doesn't want to say that out loud. So this person can be lying. This is a gossip reading, right? For some people, this is like essentially pile number 4. So this person could be lying. And I'm noticing this, like we got a knight here in the background, which he's entirely covered in armor. He thinks he's got the sword of truth and he's holding up a mirror, that like reflective energy. Like, hey, look at yourself. And it's like, I'd tell you to look at yourself, but if you turn that mirror around, all you're going to see is a suit of armor. That's how far away from looking at yourself you are. Because this person is defending their like emotional state from you. And they're defending their emotional state. They think it's from you. Because this person, that's how they can't look at themselves. They think I'm defending my emotional state from you because you're coming at me. When in reality, the only reason this person has an issue is because of their own behavior. They are defending themselves against the negative feelings they would have if they were truly to grapple with the gravity of their behavior, the extent of their asshattery, and what a fucking asshole they are. Woo! Chess in the City, thank you so much for the super chat, and I love your name. I think I've said that to you before. Yeah. So this person has a problem. And then look, this is you, this basilisk, why am I thinking of Harry Potter? I thought that was a snake. Was it?
Basilisk is kind of like a snake-like giant monster.
But this is a chicken with wings. Oh no, it has a tail on it. This is what it is. I mean, that's what I thought too, but it has like whatever. But basilisk. Oh, that's why he's chasing it with the mirror. Okay, I wasn't thinking about it because if you see it in the mirror, it dies. It freezes. It dies. So this is a person that's like, I can't look in the mirror at myself because then it's gonna die. What's gonna die is the ass hat part of themselves. It's not something to be running from. But this is a person who, again, they are just dipping their toe into like the self-reflective waters. So they're like, I had a negative emotion, therefore you are wrong. And it's like, that negative emotion is healing. Why don't you jump in the pool, asshole? I'm sorry. There's a lot of assholes coming out in this. I feel like you guys had a fight. And they're in the wrong. I can see that they're in the wrong. And then they want to act like they're up on some kind of high horse and that you did something wrong. Because I'm also seeing you are this basilisk thing. Like you're running into the castle here of like your own fortress. And it's like, yeah, I knew you'd run. Like, you know, I don't know. And you're just like, I just want you away from me so badly. Like, please just leave me alone. Like, I just don't want to be around you. It's so deeply unpleasant. I don't want to be around your bullshit anymore because like what he's running from is this like dark, it's not a dark night of the soul. It should be. And this person's, instead of being in their dark night of the soul, they're trying to chase you all over Kingdom Come. But then, you know, it's like this moon energy, like this, it's negative. It's like I just heard, not my circus, not my monkeys. This is not your dark night of the soul. This person's trying to suck you into their dark night of the soul. And for some of you, they're like trying to get on you like you're their life raft and you're like, help. Like you are not meant to be a part of this. And this person has some kind of animosity because something about you is very reflective. You are the mirror that's going to freeze them and make them end. Like, again, their ego, something that needs to. This is a person, they just aren't very deep. They're just not very capable intellectually, like in their own self-awareness. And they want to blame you and blame other people. And so this is not the attitude to have for like change and transformation. And I just want to say this as well, because I know for a lot of us, like we get hard on ourselves because a lot of us probably err on the side where we're always looking at like whatever situation is going on. Even I guarantee this is something this person has not factored in. That whatever you needed to learn from this situation, whatever you said or did that contributed to this, but this is like 2%. This person did 98% of the fuckery and you did 2%. I guarantee that you looked at that 2%. It's just unfair for you to bring that up because then it's just an excuse for this person. They're like, yeah, well, you did do that. And you've been having a conversation where you've explained your 2%. You've taken 45 minutes to wax poetic about your 2% of what you did. Such is the extent that you're able to look at yourself. Such is the willingness you have. And you knew that was going to get taken advantage of in this person. And they're like, we've been talking for 45 minutes. You know, we've processed this enough. And it's like, you did that. We talked 45 minutes on my 2%. I don't think this is how this went because I don't think you gave the person the opportunity. I think you sussed this person out, that they're just not the person that's going to meet you halfway. They're not capable of it. And they're not motivated to. They're motivated to protect their stance. So this is something that's going to re-inflict some kind of wound. Whatever they did, whatever wound they inflicted on you wasn't enough. This person has to, this is about control, but they need to maintain control because it's to maintain their own psychological comfort. That's what this person's prizing above everything. This is ego defense mechanisms. We talk about it all the time and you probably know intimately. This is also the problem because I feel like this is a situation where it's like you can probably call this person's bullshit. You're like, it's this ego defense mechanism. It was freaking Colonel Mustard in the dining hall with the candlestick at 7 p.m. on a Wednesday night. It was April Fool's Day. You know all of these things. But this is not your circus. It's not your monkeys. It's not your dark night of the soul. And, I'm all for helping people who help themselves and this person's incapable. All this person can do is shove things off onto other people's plates and what they deserve. And this person has never given a thought to what you deserved. And as a matter of fact, if this person could have gotten away with something here, they would have been just fine with it. Just fine with it. And I think these people are mad. If they're really honest with themselves, they're mad that they didn't get away with it. They're mad that you knew. They're mad that they got called out on their bullshit. This person would not change their behavior on their own because they don't give a shit about being a good person. And that's the truth of them. And you knew it. So it's the end of a cycle. It's the end of an era. It's the end of an illusion. It is the end of this person's hold on you, of you believing something about them that's not true. And the thing that you believed about this person that was not true is that they were a good person to begin with. This person can lie to themselves all they want, but good people don't go around doing what this person did to you. Good people don't go around doing that. And when good people are confronted with their bullshit and the way that it's affected other people, good people take care of that shit. And they initiate it because it matters to them. They don't make you drag every lying, sorry sack of shit out of them before they want to start taking responsibility for themselves. Good people just don't do that. If-then statement. So, that was the general message. Yes. I'm so glad. Yeah. Oh, look. And then we got the 4 of Swords. I hate this card in this deck. It gives me such bad vibes because this is the person that was going to, this is what I'm saying. They're a vampire. They're going to take from you in darkness. And if they didn't get away with it, then Cyclops. Okay. This is also weaponized incompetence. This is a person I just didn't see. They wanted you to be the Cyclops. They didn't want you to have depth perception here about the situation. They wanted to shatter your truth. This is also probably why you didn't have a conversation with this person to begin with, because you knew they were going to pull some bullshit about some kind of lie about it really wasn't that, it was this. And you're like, no, I don't think it was, So, you just didn't want to go through that song and dance. You've already wasted enough time, energy on this person believing their bullshit and you're just done. And I think for some people, it honestly shocked them. Okay. So this goes back to the what I was saying. It's like you span categories. So you're sweet, but you're nobody's fool. This person clustered you in with a group of people because like you are very sweet, but you're unforgiving, this person is an asshole. Make no two cents about it. The only person that believes this person and what they did is not an asshole is them, and whoever else is stupid enough to believe their lies. So don't get wrapped up into that, okay? This person is an asshole, like as a matter of fact, from like whatever went on here. As a absolute matter of fact, all of the facts have revealed this person's an asshole, right? And they're mad because they put you in one category. And in fact, you're not in that category. You're much more than that. And this person wants to blame you for not having the reaction that they thought you should have had because they want to try to take some kind of category away from you. Like you're really not that sweet because you did this, this, and this. Bitch, I'm sweet as hell. But the reason I can keep sweet and I can be nice is because I don't have sharks like you around me. Period. Because you know what? That's going to make me a cranky bitch. Whew. Go ahead. Send this to them. With love. Yeah. So, this person needs to shatter their illusions about themselves. This person is a piece of shit. And I kind of wish I could tell them that for you because I can feel it. So, yeah. Okay. So I'm glad we did that general message. Like I said, for some of you, that's legit pile number 4. Maybe we'll put that on the timestamps, like general message / pile number 4. So accurate. LOL. I hate this. Yes. Wow. My own brother. Yeah. Isn't it? You know, that could be another aspect of this. Cause like literally when you said that, it's like, it's always the people close to you. You know, there's something here where it's like, that's another thing. It's like this person could have weaponized some kind of love between the two of you, some kind of trust between the two of you, some kind of feeling between the two of you that this person thought could never go away. And that you owed it to them to never like put your love away. But this person used that against you. They weaponized your relationship. They weaponized your trust of them. So somebody who weaponizes trust, is that a person you can trust? Just asking. Because this person can't seem to answer their own fucking questions. So this person is maddening. I highly suggest you get away from them because this is a person who is full of shit and it's only going to get worse. Like you're just only going to discover that this person is worse and worse and worse because this is a person who truly, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart, they cannot take responsibility for their own behavior. So this is just the tip of the iceberg with this person, no matter what it is that they did. I promise you there are skeletons in this person's closet. This person is unable to reconcile their own books. And that might be a karma that's going on here. This person may be having money problems. They might be just unable to reconcile their own books. And spirit is saying karma, because karmically, they're just unable to reconcile their own books. And I think they're unable to reconcile their own books with you. And it's getting to the point where their guides are like, listen, put up or shut up, okay? Because we're not sending you in here to human life for you to continue making the same bullshit mistakes that you are supposed to be fixing with people. We are not bringing beautiful, lovely souls around you that are frankly brave enough to agree to come in here and be around you knowing damn good and well how you've been in past lives, for you to not only not clean up your mess and be the person you're supposed to be, but for you to then make it worse, dick. Like, that's literally what I'm getting. I can write a book now, pile 3. Yeah. And also, like, notice my attitude, how I am just not playing with this person and I don't think it's okay. And if this person has an issue with you and how you handled the situation, which was probably just by walking away, and I think you handled this with a lot of grace, I don't think you gave this person their just desserts. Also, some of these people know damn good and well that you should chew them out. They know damn good and well. And if the shoe was on the other foot, shit would be crazy right now. Shit would be crazy. And they know it. So some of these people went on the defense. So they started like, again, trying to like come for your reputation. They had to like weaken your position socially. These people are shitty. This is the lowest of the low kind of human being. And it is not a surprise that you wouldn't want this person around you. But I do just want you to notice my attitude. I'm a very sweet person, but I don't have time for this. And you shouldn't have time for this either. And if they thought you were bad, how you dealt with the situation, look at me right now. I would love to tell them to their face. I can do this for other people. I would love to tell this person that they're an asshole. I wish I had a service where I would just, you know, like, what's that, the thing for celebrities where it's like, they can wish you a happy birthday or something if you pay like a certain amount. I just wish I had a service where people were like, okay, can you tell this person that they're an asshole and mention this, this, and this? And it would just be me being like, hello, dick face.
We could do that.
I would love to do that.
Like, we could straight up do a cameo for you.
Oh my gosh, I would need like a 24-hour-a-day bodyguard if I did that. And honestly, it'd be the best thing that ever happened to this person. They would be so lucky, but this is a person who's so stupid and they're so mentally stunted and they're so horrible emotionally. This is a person who's done a lot of bad things. They've done a lot of fucked up stuff and they just keep making excuses for themselves. This person's going to have a massive crisis of conscience once they realize like whatever it is that they've done. They really are. So I don't blame them because like for not wanting to face it because they have nothing to be proud of about themselves. Like it's really like this is life on easy mode. It takes absolutely no skill to just go around like destroying people like this. Anyways, I was going to say something ruder and then it flew out of my head and I really regret that. You'd be doing the Lord's work. Exactly. Yeah, it would be the best thing that ever happened to this person though. Is for somebody to just like whack them upside the head with the truth of who they are. I just picture somebody like with a fish that just like smack them across the face. Like that, and this person wants to bitch and whine and throw a bitch and like a bitch fit and like blame you and everybody else and their mama. Like instead of being like, that was really the wake up call that I needed. Thank you. I was going around hurting people until I got slapped in the face with a fish. Yes. I'm going on Patreon again. Sorry, I've been away. That's okay. People come in and out. You know, there's a season for everything. I hope one day he regrets it. Fish slap. Learning the hard way. Yeah. And if this is a doubt for you, I think you broke whatever karma. Like, I think that you came in here. Never forget that you're brave. Okay? Because I think this person is on some fuck shit. And I think that you believe in souls bossing up. And you were like, sure. You think that, you know, you said you thought you was ready. And I said, let's see. This person was like, I think I can do better. And you were like, I'll give you a try. It's because you're brave. But I think that you are done. Like, I think you and this person, you're going your separate way now. This person can rise their elevation. Like, they can raise their vibration to be on your level. Or they cannot do it, but you're done with this person. Like that group or group, maybe there's a group, like you are done with those people. You are really like the universal forces they're like absolutely not. The universal forces stepped in and separated the two of you because what went on here was so like distasteful. And honestly, like, no, somebody here is like of God and I think it's you. And so like you play with like that side of things. And so it was like, this is not for your highest and greatest good. Get the out. This person, I don't care what this person's been through. It has not been enough in their life. This is also a person who like thinks that they've been through shit, but any of the shit that this person has been through, they brought on themselves. All right. That's what I have. Thank you guys for spending Saturday or Friday with me. We've got a Patreon video coming out tomorrow. I do have more of the short channeled messages that are in the pipeline. So look out for those. And yeah, thank you guys for being my people. Thank you for spending another lovely Saturday. Thank you guys so much for the super chats. Bye.